Hello everyone, this is Bazzoka. Welcome to one of my videos and welcome to Not Leave a Loadout. I probably just psyched you out there, didn't I? Nope, this time in the new year. Happy New Year, of course. I can't believe I didn't start off with that, but whatever. But of course, to kick off the New Year's, I thought about doing something completely different. I have before stated that I did want to try a top 10 video or like a tips video, something like that. So I'm going to try this now, and as you can see by the title, it is going to be the top 10 TF2 weapon changes of 2013. So let's kick this off. Of course, before I can really get into this list, of course there's going to be honorable mentions. As you can see here, we have the loose cannon, the vaccinator, the amputator, the cozy camper, and weapon set bonuses. These weapons were changed, big or small, but I felt that the change wasn't big enough to alter the way a person plays with it, or not enough people really flocked to it as a result of the change. So there's that. Also, RIP weapon set bonuses. You shall be missed. So let's start this list off. Number 10. The Darwin's Danger Shield was a very simple weapon, and I use that term lightly. It gave you an extra 25 HP, bumping the sniper up to a 150 base HP. It didn't do much, because you could still be easily counter-sniped. The main reason why everyone even equipped this shield was for the crocodile set bonus. Rarely did I see a sniper equip this thing unless they were a huntsman sniper, so they could tank a little more while on the battlefield. In the summer 2013 update, what with the weapon sets done away with, the Danger Shield got a buff that made it a little more viable. In addition to the 25 more HP, it gave you 15% bullet resistance, meaning you could easily survive a quickscope headshot at full health. To balance that out, you're 20% more susceptible to explosive damage, making it not so great for being at the front lines. Number 9. A weapon for the spy, it was the spy watch to use. Of course, what else could I be talking about besides the Dead Ringer? The DR was used for practically any situation. Most players saw feigned death and probably thought it was leaps and bounds better than the Invis-Watch and Cloak and Dagger. While you faked your death, you had perfect invisibility and took a whopping 10% damage in the original 6.5 seconds of Dead Ringer time. In that time, you could easily block someone and buy some time for your team, pass through dangerous crossfire without a care in the world, or have pyros follow you until you died. Valve saw this and devised a nerf that would make people think twice about using this watch. In the summer 2013 update, the Dead Ringer changed slightly. Its cloak time and regeneration time stayed the same. It didn't do anything differently, so what changed? The simple fact of taking damage decreases the Dead Ringer's perfect invisibility state, meaning the more damage done to you, the less time you were in your 90% less damage and no flicker state. Even though this was a big change, I don't think this affected many people, as I still see my fair share of Dead Ringer spies, but I do see more Invis-Watch and Cloak and Daggers now, so that means something, right? Number 8. It was the go-to melee weapon for the soldier. Of course, I'm talking about the escape plan. What was once part of the equalizer, the escape plan was the butter to any soldier loadout. Want to melee someone? Escape plan. Want to make a hasty retreat? Escape plan. Don't know which melee to use? Escape plan. In the summer 2013 update, the escape plan got the biggest nerf that could possibly put on a weapon. Marked for death while active and shortly after putting it away. This deterred many from using this weapon. In fact, the strange variant took a hit, going from 4 or fine to half that. Granted, it's still not a bad weapon, and people still use it, obviously, but not much to the extent as before. Number 7. Am I a bit biased? Perhaps, but that doesn't mean that the Crusader's crossbow wasn't changed. The crossbow has a unique reverse damage fall-off, only shared with the loose cannon, before it was changed in the summer 2013 update. The crossbow went through a few changes in the last few months of 2013. The first update that was instrumental to the use of the crossbow was the Scream Fortress 2013 update, with the crossbow now being able to reload while holstered, like the Pyro's flare guns. However, not long after that, the November 1st patch also lowered the reload time from 1.5 seconds compared to the original 3-second reload, apparently. It was unfortunately also met with a damage reduction, but once again, not long after that, the November 21st patch essentially gave the damage back. The silent and faster reload made me use this weapon and is now part of my main medic sets, when before I only ever used the syringe guns. Number 6. While many only used it for the Saharan Spy set or used it in conjunction with the Big Earner for a cloak regen set, I did not see the L'Étrange used much beyond that. The damage penalty didn't make it very appealing, and even though you could get some cloak back, you were probably better off picking up an ammo pack. Once again, with the set bonuses packed away, the Saharan Spy set was no more, and they had to do something to compensate for the massive loss. In the summer 2013 update, they added a 40% cloak duration to the L'Étrange. This weapon had a use now, giving you another 4 seconds of cloak time with the stock Inviswatch. 3 or 2 seconds for the Cloak and Dagger or the Dead Ringer, respectively. Everyone knows that a lot of things can happen in 4 seconds, and traveling is no different. While I don't play Spy much, it's with the stock revolver or the L'Étrange for me, so I have more time to think of where to go and watch the enemy. Number 5. The Quick Fix was a very underused metagun. Its lack of overheal and its uber unable to affect yourself were 2 big reasons why you shouldn't use it. I myself use this one because I like being able to heal everyone up fast, and being unable to be pushed around by pros was a great tool added to it. It also promoted pocketing explosive jumping soldiers in demos. In the summer 2013 update, the Quick Fix got the best buff it ever could in its entire life, the ability to overheal. Okay, so it's not a full overheal, but my god, did you keep track of the price of its strange variant? It was a reclaim before, and it jumped to a key. Granted, hype price was strong with this one, but it's still worth half a key. Everyone started using this new and improved metagun, if not always, then to just give it a shot. Not to mention, the Uber affected yourself as well, so you could pop it to keep yourself alive now instead of popping it, your pocket dying and you were a sitting duck. Number 4. The worst spy revolver from his collection of guns, the Diamondback, was definitely an underused weapon, and for a good reason. While it sounded awesome and the basic idea was solid, it was so dependent on the enemy team having engineers that if they didn't have any, it was a crappier stock revolver that wanted to be like the Ambassador. In the Smithmas 2013 update, the Diamondback got a huge buff. Not only could you get crits from buildings destroyed while your sapper was on them, but now you got crits for backstabbing people. Yes, you got crits for doing the most basic thing that all spies are able to do. No longer do you have to hope there's an enemy NG to get crits. You can now go about your regular spy routine and get free crits. Spies, rejoice! The only thing that I can imagine now is in a few months' time or so, this will take the place of the Enforcer being the noob spy weapon. Also, I just noticed how many spy weapons made it onto this list. Yeesh. Number 3. A giant gimmick weapon, the Babyface's blaster, was kind of a flop. The increased accuracy actually made it kind of harder to aim, especially how fast you could get going. Not only that, but when you first spawned, you moved incredibly slow. In fact, you moved slower than a demo man, and for a scout, that was a big deal. Also, not being able to jump ever was also a big deal, as being a scout meant jumping all over the place and, more importantly, over your enemies to disorientate them. In the November 21st patch, the blaster was massively reworked. The general idea was the same: you start off slower, build boost by damaging people, but much of it was changed. No longer did it do less damage and have a higher accuracy, it now had the stock scattergun base for its shots. Your speed reduction was only 10% compared to the 35% originally. And to top it all off, you no longer had to worry about jumping. Jumping from the ground didn't do anything anymore, and if you did an air jump, you only lost a quarter of your boost compared to all of your boost from any jump. The only thing to balance it out was they reduced the clip size to 4 so as not to make it better than the stock scattergun. I find myself using this more and more as a scout now. Number 2. The short circuit was a very niche weapon. Consuming a whopping 35 metal per shot, you had to make sure your shots counted and that you could easily access an ammo pack or your dispenser if you used it too much. Like the crossbow, the short circuit was changed a couple of times before finally settling on what it is now. The summer 2013 update was a step in the right direction to get people to use this more. Not only could it fire a bit faster, but if you hit something, it only ate 18 metal as opposed to the original 35. Unfortunately, if you didn't hit anything, it would eat 36 metal. Seeing that people still didn't find the weapon appetizing enough, the Smithsmith 2013 update certainly changed that. Now, the short circuit fires as fast as a pistol, and only consumes 5 metal. Think about that. 5 metal compared to the 18 and 35 before. That gives you 40 shots compared to the 11 and 5 shots respectively. This weapon now completely gimps the demo man and halves the soldier's efficiency. The short circuit should always be a part of a good defense and, hey, even a good offense. And finally, to top it all off, number 1. The soda popper was my favorite scout weapon. Yes, I know, it's a noob weapon, but so's the beggar's bazooka and the phlogistonator, and you don't see me hating those either, now do you? The soda popper was the epitome of burst damage for the scout, if you ask me. Timing when you activate the mini crits was never a problem for me, so I could just go in, deal practically 300 damage in 2 shots, and run out, rinse and repeat. In the Smithsmith 2013 update, the soda popper I once knew and loved was gone. No longer did the soda popper give you mini crits when the meter filled. Oh no. Now when you max out the hype meter, you could alt fire to activate hype mode. This state lets you jump an extra 4 times, giving you 5 total air jumps. Not only is there nothing to do with damage, but this could be considered a completely new weapon now. But I suppose more importantly, this weapon now synergizes with the entire number 1 fan set, being completely centered around jumps. So, that was my top 10 list. Remember, this is just my top 10 list. It's not yours, it's not the general public's, it's mine. So, do you agree? Do you agree with this list at all? Or do you feel like I missed out on something, like the amputator giving a higher regen rate? Or tell me what you think in the comments, because this is my first time making a top 10 list, and, well, it's completely opinionated, but who knows? Maybe I did alright. So, I thank you so much for watching, and stick around for more TF2 videos and La-Mulana blind time. I will see you guys later, and have a great day and a good night. No, that seems too much like German now, because he does random sounds at the end. I think...
Dominated!